What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of K Area, K-pop in your area, the Bay Area.
In your area.
Got a really fun show for all of you today. We've got our Daebak or Not. We are going to take a look at the latest from Red Velvet called Russian Roulette. We will also be taking a look at a brand new wonderful treasure find. And then at the end of the show, we'll be asking you listeners for some of your input and feedback. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Supermatic and DJ Peter Lowe, Nurse Joyce. Let's get to it.
What's the thing you're obsessed with these days?
K-pop.
What is this, Korean pop music?
The Korean wave?
It's the K-wave, and it's washed over Asia for the last few years.
It's the best thing you've ever seen.
The girls' generation.
A wave of supergroups with infectious hooks.
I'm really impressed. I'm speechless, really.
It's a global phenomenon.
사슴같이 예쁜 넌 나의 princess 나를 보고 비웃는 게 너무 시크해 모두 날 보게 너 지금부터 잘 지켜봐
You're listening to K Area. This is DJ Peter Lowe, and I'm coming back from my wedding and my honeymoon.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So it's been a couple weeks, and I think we're catching up on items that are music videos, K-pop in general, that we've been out of the loop on. We've taken a short break, but we're back here for you guys, you the listeners, here on K Area. This is also a first where we're not going live on FM necessarily. I think we're still experimenting with our format, figuring out what works for us and for you listeners. If there's something that you guys like, or that's something that you want us to focus on more, we're all ears, guys. Truth be told, we have no idea what we're doing, and we're just kind of learning as we're going. But kicking off for this episode, we've got another segment of Daebak or Not, right? So, yeah, it's that cheesy song again.
It's so perfect, though.
Yeah, right. So Daebak or Not is where we take a look at a song every episode, and we say, we give it a score. We look at in terms of how good it is, in terms of what we thought of the audio, the song, the sound attributes of the song, and then we also look at the concept, what we thought of the visuals, what we thought of the theme that we're going for that episode overall, and lastly, we give it an overall score if it's a Daebak or Not.
Yeah.
All right. So this week we took a look at Red Velvet's Russian Roulette.
Their comeback.
Yeah. All right. So in terms of the audio, what did you think of their song Supermatic?
So the track, just plain and simple, one word, catchy. It's been stuck in my head the last week since it dropped. Admittedly, one thing that I found myself immediately thinking the moment I heard it, before I even watched the music video actually, is that I was getting vibes of Dum Dum. And of course, I mean, this, Red Velvet had another song in between Dum Dum and this one. I think it was called One of Those Nights, but not really memorable.
Yeah, like I mean, who really cares about those ballads? I mean, really, like you were telling me earlier as we were heading over here for the show that what the red was supposed to be the pop sound,
like the very poppy, colorful, like up tempo, fun side of Red Velvet,
and then the velvet. So two meanings, right? Red is pop, and velvet was supposed to be smooth, and
like the more ballady and like serious concepts that they go for with songs like Automatic, One of These Nights. But that's their whole thing. I mean, that's what Red Velvet goes for. They have the red, they have the velvet. They do the whole dual concept thing as one group.
Yeah. But everyone cares about the red part. And let's be real, right?
They've been more successful with their red tracks than they have with their velvet tracks.
Okay.
And this might be another example of that.
Okay.
It's just when I think of Russian roulette, it's similar to some other genres of music I listen to. You cited J-pop earlier, and I can kind of feel that vibe too. It reminds me of like Capsule, Perfume, Kiari.
Yeah.
If anyone out there listens to J-pop, you'll be familiar with those names. But yeah, this one's just like overall an enjoyable package. Maybe not as hard hitting with the bass as Dum Dum is, but it's light enough and it's kind of borderline funky for me. Like I don't know. It's just it gets stuck in my head.
So what would you rate it in terms of audio?
I would have to give it a solid 4, admittedly.
A 4. It's totally J-pop-esque, right? It's Yakata Capsule. Sort of like it had that. It was very characteristic of J-pop. To your point, not to have as much of that rounded bassy tunes, but more that like funky electronic-y sound. And you can hear that in their voices, right? Like they manipulate the voices quite a bit, such that it would be totally not unexpected to hear Kiari Pamu come in with like another verse after like them, right? I don't know. That's what it really reminds me of. And I think the same level of like vocal manipulation that you would get with Perfume. Perfume, of course, is a very different style, but that same sort of like audio filter applied to Red Velvet. So going in line with that same sort of like J-pop melody and J-pop sound, what I thought was really cool, and this is really rare for me, but the melody for that bridge is very similar. It kind of reminds me of what's her face, Katy Perry's Last Friday Night. You know the jazz, the saxophone solo. In that bridge in Katy Perry's song kind of reminds me of the bridge in this song. I think it's pretty funny. So for audio, I also give it a 4. Nurse Joyce.
Yes.
What did you think of the audio?
I liked it. I gave it a 4. But that was cute. It actually reminded me of Selena Gomez's Love Song because of they go beat beat, and it goes like, it reminds me of when Selena Gomez goes repeat beat 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 beat. So I guess that was my correlation. I guess it's actually pretty common in a lot of pop songs to sort of like run out of words, so you're just gonna add more syllables. Yeah, we're just gonna just repeat the syllable.
All right. So in terms of the concept, Supermatic.
All right, this is where I'm a little more critical because with Red Velvet, they're known for their interesting, very like, as I referenced with the audio, they're very colorful. They they come out and they just make you go what the a lot, admittedly. Yeah, it's funny because I watched this video and immediately, again, like not just with the song, but when I watched the video and I was listening to the track and looking at what they were going for, like all the bright pastel colors, noticing that they're like deadpan staring into the camera with those like piercing eyes, I felt like they were still in that robotic mode from Dum Dum, but they pretty much just like moved on from Dum Dum to this like new setting.
Very stoic, right? In terms of the reactions that each of the characters I put in quotes.
Because if you were to just listen to the song without watching the MV, you'd think like, oh, they're probably like all happy and stuff. They're probably running around Korea or wherever they are, and they're just talking about Russian roulette, like whatever it is. But then you watch the video, and it's actually kind of an interesting, I don't know what the term is, but like a clash because it's bright, it's colorful. They got this setting where they're like in a school, they're at a swimming pool, it seems kind of like a happier mood.
Mhm.
But then you notice that all the girls are kind of like pulling these itchy and scratchy style violence
Yeah.
on each other. They're all like conspiring to kill each other. You've got a fridge hanging over one of them. You have one of them getting a locker pushed by the other 4 members. You have one getting pushed off a diving board. I'm like, what is going on? I don't even see like anyone else in the video.
Yeah, and it seems like it's implied, right? Like you don't actually see the like graphical violence, but it's like leading up to it.
Like all the scenes cut away right before the moment of impact, so you don't actually see the girl's quote death.
Yeah.
But it's heavily implied, and that's what I found kind of interesting about the music video, because it's a really interesting dichotomy, or like a clash of the moods, because you think from the like just visually with the aesthetic, it's happy, but then you look at what's going on, you look at the surroundings, it's like, why are these girls trying to kill each other?
Yeah. Yeah, but what I thought was also interesting is that right before they like make that like murder move, like it comes from another reality, right? So the cool thing going on was that you have like 2 frames and they sort of blend together. What happens in one leads over to the next.
Ah, good point.
Right? And it's like the act of the gesture of murder is initiated in one frame and carries over to the next one. So I don't know what they were trying to say there. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just looking through it with in like my own personal lenses, but I'm gonna have to give the concept an overall score of a 3, just because like I understand that with K-pop sometimes you're not gonna entirely know what's going on upon first glance, but this one's just honestly it feels a little too full of WTF moments, if I may call it that.
Sure.
So yeah, my concept score would be a 3.
Wow. So you and we are on the same wavelength for this Daebak or Not section.
Oh,
So
wow.
I am also a 3 on this. And I think it's mainly probably the same frustration that you're coming across, is that if there is a meaning there, I'm completely lost on it. And I don't think there is. I really think that the producers and the concept developers, artists, whatever, the people who devised the concept for this music video were kind of like, whatever, let's do something artsy and let's call it Russian roulette. I don't get why it was called a Russian roulette. Like, what, when you think of Russian roulette, you think of like a deadly gamble, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And certainly there is a lot of like very life-threatening scenes, but I don't see the element of chance being thrown into it, or how one is being thrown into like a 1 out of 6, sort of chance for death.
Yeah. Like, admittedly for me, just the last input is that watching the whole video and all the build-up with all these different scenarios, when I got to the end, it felt anticlimactic.
Yeah. I completely agree. What I thought was interesting, however, is that it carries on with another trend that we're seeing lately in K-pop is framing. So you notice like the different aspect ratios of each of the scenes, it kept changing throughout. So like the frames, like it would go into a letterbox and then you go into a square, and the frames themselves would be different colors. Sometimes there was even a circle.
Ooh,
and that's just a new trend. I think like that's a sign. High production K-pop music videos have colorful changing frames.
Interesting. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. I noticed that only the big labels do this. Well, and so it's like from the likes of SM that I think you're going to see these sort of like experimental changes. So it was enjoyable. Don't get me wrong. That's why I give it a 3 and not like a lower score. But there's just a lot of like, what you were saying earlier, like I'm not there. There's no climax, even if that climax means not necessarily killing someone, but like explaining what they're doing or providing the answer or what it's leading to.
Exactly. You're just too full of more questions than answers.
Yeah. There was another funny thing that was happening in this music video was, what is it?
Are you talking about the tennis balls?
Yeah.
There's a running gag carried over from, I can't remember which one exactly, but A-Pink had a song and music video where it's just full of tennis balls bouncing up and down on their own and like floating around on their own. So they're called the magic tennis balls of energy is what the K-pop fandom came to call it. So when this video came out, like the next day, the YouTube comments were all like, oh, the tennis balls from A-Pink are back. Nice to see they're still going strong.
Yeah. Well, K-pop shares the same universe as far as I'm concerned. It's such a different reality, but you know it's the same universe because they recycle the same set items.
Yeah,
The music
pretty
video,
much.
music video. All right, so 3 from me. Nurse Joyce, what did you think of the concept?
Concept I thought was actually, I would actually disagree with both of you.
This is why you're on the show.
Yeah. The concept actually grew on me. And I think it was very, I'm going to give it a 4 or even a 4.5. Let's go with 4.5.
Wow.
Just because it's weird and I like weird. And the girls have like these like really stoic faces, and the makeup is really doll-like, bright red lips, very pale skin, and then every time they're singing, when they're still, they have these like really stoic faces, but like when they do their little dance things, they're like back to happy smiley. So I mean, yes, it makes you question everything, but that's the whole point. Is to make you question everything.
You know, maybe my intellectual level just isn't there where I get the message of what they're trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just there's sort of a dark concept to this. You got these beautiful girls, and then they have this dark side to them. And I think with sort of their brand, this is kind of how they go.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they're always kind of out there. All their, at least for their red music videos, they're kind of crazy. Like ice cream cake, there's like a random giant cat. Why is there a random giant cat?
Everyone
Who
loves
knows?
kitties.
Everyone loves kitties. So what's wrong with that? Some that doesn't make sense, but who cares? Like that's kind of what they go for. I mean, what's their first song? Happiness. It was just super random, like trippy, tropical kind of thing. They like it being trippy, and they like it with bright colors. So in terms of concept, it actually really does go together with the rest of their music repertoire. So, I mean, I would, 4.5, because they're being weird and they're being Red Velvet. So that's being very true to themselves and their brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That makes sense. Well, again, thank you, Nurse Joyce, because if it weren't for you, it'd be two straight guys with the exact same score throughout. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, providing your perspective. Okay, so overall, Daebak or not, Supermatic.
All right. So while I'm not necessarily too big on the concept myself, I will admit that song versus MV, song definitely wins out here. So overall, as a song, Russian Roulette is enjoyable enough to me to make it Daebak.
You know, I feel like I need to disagree with you on principle, but I can't. Like, not on principle, just for the sake of variety in our show, and just so that you and I aren't agreeing all the time. But yeah, I unfortunately, I don't know. I agree with you. Like, I thought it was very provocative in terms of like, oh gosh, like, you know, we've got all these different interesting framing scenes. We've got a very high production value for the concept. It's in line with the with the Red Velvet brand in terms of how vibrant and colorful it was.
And the reason that they don't make any sense. I think that's also part of their brand, is not making sense.
Making you scratch your head.
Basically, itchy and scratchy style.
Yep. I don't even know why they threw that in. I guess just because they're very violent. Yeah. It's a roulette royale is what we saw in Soul Beats. Yeah, red velvet royale. So there we go. Red roulette royale. I don't know. Sorry, me trying too hard for alliteration or consonants. But yeah, sorry. So back to the point. Daebak or not, I rate it Daebak. Good concept. The audio, I love it on the audio. It's so rare. I think I don't like all J-pop, but that sort of like funky Yakuza capsule sort of production value, I really do enjoy.
I mean, these girls were dolls and dum-dums, so why not this?
Yeah. All right, so let's give a quick listen. It's Red Velvet's Russian Roulette here on K Area. And that was Russian Roulette by Red Velvet. All right, and it is time for this show's segment of Do You Know K-Pop? So I think this is something that fun that we introduced last episode, where Matt, really the resident K-pop expert here, comes up with the questions because he knows K-pop way better than I do. It's DJ Pilo, and I kind of have a rough sense. Meanwhile, Nurse Joyce here,
I know nothing.
she knows nothing, so she's here to make fun of me. So let's kick it off with Do You Know K-Pop?
All right. So, seeing as how we just went ahead and covered Red Velvet with our Daebak or Not section, I actually thought it'd be fun to come up with a couple of quick questions starting off with them. First question, actually, a fun fact that I did not know myself. Which of the 5 members of Red Velvet originally auditioned for Cube, hoping to join 4 Minute, before she ended up joining SM Entertainment? So the members' names,
I don't even know their names. I don't even know.
The blonde one.
Yeah, right. That's usually how I know them apart, like by their hair color, which unfortunately changes every music video.
Standard of K-pop.
But there's usually at least a blonde one.
Usually.
You're right. Well, I'll just go ahead and throw the names out there. Maybe you could just do the whole, like, maybe pick a name out of a hat thing.
Okay.
So there's Irene, Wendy, Silgi, Joy, or Yeri. And Yeri is the youngest member.
The Maknae?
Yes, the Maknae.
Maknae, okay. So which one of these was applied for Cube before getting
She auditioned for Cube because her dream was to join for a minute before she ended up being picked up by SM Entertainment.
I'm going to go with Joy because that's me.
Well, we all know what happened to 4 Minute.
Right?
I mean, it's probably good that she didn't become one of Hyena's backup dancers. that was going to be... Yeah. Well... Can you at least, like, show me their pictures? Like...
Oh.
So I can look at, maybe what they look like?
The pretty one.
Okay. Name their names again?
So there's Wendy, Irene, Solgi, Joy, or Yeri.
Okay, you know what?
The one with surgery.
Yes, that one. What the hell? I'll go with Joy.
Okay, so Joy is your final answer?
Yes, final answer.
Alright, so it was actually Wendy. She is the main dancer of Red Velvet, so it kind of makes sense that she was the one who auditioned for Cube. But yeah, it was Wendy who auditioned. Her favorite group was 4 Minute, but then she ended up not making it. There was an SM scout at that audition, actually, and he noticed Wendy, so he was like, hey, come audition for SM.
Wait, so an SM scout was approaching Cube auditions?
I know, right? Kind of shady.
I wouldn't pet it past SM,
right?
Honestly. Okay. All right. Well, when you asked that question, I knew there was no way I was going to get it right. So, all right. So, next question.
All right. So, question number 2. Unfortunately, it's also another Red Velvet-esque question. But maybe I'll go ahead and throw you a lifeline here. I'll narrow it down to 3 choices to make it a little easier.
Okay.
Which member of Red Velvet appeared on the TV show We Got Married as the, quote, lawfully wedded wife to Sungjae from B2B? Was it Yeri the Maknae? Was it Joy? Or was it Irene the leader?
If I keep guessing Joy, will that mean I get it right eventually?
Is that the method you're going to keep going with?
I don't know. Well, let's think about this. So for our listeners who don't know, We Got Married is just the most weirdest, perverse thing about K-pop culture is that they pretend these people are married.
Well, Peter is married to a Joy, so...
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Thinking.
Yeah. I remember Gayan was on We Got Married at one point, and she was the Maknae of Brown Eyed Girls.
Yep.
Right? So... That doesn't help me any at all. It means it could be anyone. I'm trying to think of who else they tend to have on that show. Okay. I will go with Joy again because I have no idea.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
Drum roll. Ding, 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 ding!
Oh,
you actually got that one right.
Yes! Oh, winning strategy.
So it actually was Joy who appeared, and Joy was actually selected, and she was asked to go ahead and appear on that season of We Got Married because she apparently stood out from among the Red Velvet members as the most wifey material.
Wifey material.
Long story short.
Well, Joys do tend to be more wifey, I guess.
What? Why were people saying that she's wifey material?
Well, they were just saying, like, out of the 5 of them, she seemed to be the one who was, like, the most open to the idea of, like, even a simulated marriage. Because, yeah, and, like, she just, apparently when they interviewed all 5 of the members to see which one they wanted to consider, she just gave off the most natural, like, happiness and kindness and, like, just came across as the most charismatic.
Today I learned that, okay, Yeah, so if you're looking to get married, guys, marry Joy. Okay, next question.
All right. So this one might be a little easier for you. I don't know, but okay. Which of the following idols notably has an actual background as a breakdancer? Is it A. Hyoyeon from SNSD? Is it B. J Park, formerly of 2PM, now a solo artist? C. Taemin from SHINee? Or is it D. Chungha from IOI? You seem to be thinking very hard about that one.
Okay, the first one was what's her face from SNSD?
Okay, it's Hyoyeon from SNSD, pretty much the main dancer. There's J Park, formerly of 2PM. Taemin from SHINee, who's also like SHINee's main dancer. And then there's Chungha from IOI, like the only real dancer on IOI. Side note.
Wait, and the question was?
Which of the following idols notably has a background in breakdancing?
Oh, breakdance. That's J Park for sure. I know he was breakdancing in Seattle and stuff. So yeah, J Park. Final answer.
Wow, that was a very quick input. And you know what? Ding, ding, ding. You're right.
Yes. At least so I'm.
Good job for understanding the question.
Yeah, I was gonna start narrowing it. I was like, wait a minute. This one is known for being a dancer. This one's known for being a dancer. But yeah, okay. So yeah, I know J Park is a b-boyer in some town. So
Yep.
Okay, how many more questions do we have?
Just a couple more, if that's all right.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. So second to last question: which of the following members of the mega rookie girl group Twice is known for her mega love of food, particularly the Korean dish known as jokbal, which is pig's feet? Is it A. Momo, B. Sana, C. Nayeon, or D. Tsuyu?
Oh, wow. Okay. You know, I was thinking it was probably going to be the leader because she is known for her weight.
You're talking about Nayeon or... Oh, no, Geo,
yeah.
Well, she's not one of the options.
So that helps me. Okay, so you had the...
That's mean.
I know, that was really mean. But this is all I have to go off, guys. So I'm sorry. That was, I'd like to take that comment back. That was really mean. Sorry.
Well, she did work really hard to lose weight for the Cheer Up promotion.
Yeah, and I'd like to preface that I don't think that she was overweight to begin with, but this is K-pop unrealistic beauty standards, and I thought she's fine at any weight, at least through what I've seen through the 16 show and whatnot. So, it was the two Japanese girls. Nayeon, the one known for being the eagle.
Oh, that's Dahyun.
Oh, that's Dahyun?
Nayeon's the bunny teeth one, the Squirtle.
Oh, that's right. Okay. And
then the last option was Tsuyu, the maknae, and the visual.
Yeah, visual Taiwanese girl. Yep. Or Chinese. I don't want to get her in more trouble.
I think we're past that. Would you like to use a lifeline?
I would go with the Korean one.
Yeah. No, honestly, that's what I was thinking. What lifeline do I get?
I could do a 50-50 and narrow it down to just two options.
No, I'll say that for the next question. So I'll go with Nayeon.
So you're going with Nayeon.
Nayeon, final answer.
Final answer locked in. Drum roll. Yeah. So it was kind of funny, actually. I did that question, and it was a bit of a trick question because Momo is known for loving jokbal, but all of Twice is known for being mega lovers of food.
Oh, what? Hey, that wasn't fair.
Hey, I put jokeball in the question, and Momo's known for loving jokeball.
Okay.
It was a bit of a trick question, sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure all our listeners know all the answers to these things, and they're all like, come on, Peter. DJ Pilo. Okay. Shall we go on to the final question?
Yeah, sure. This one actually surprised me when I found it, and I found it by pure happenstance. So let's see if you happen to catch wind of it too.
All right. Let's go ahead.
All right. So, which of the following former members of EXO is appearing in the upcoming Hollywood action blockbuster flick XXX: The Return of Xander Cage? Main star is Vin Diesel. Is it A. Tao, B. Luhan, or C. Chris?
The wheels are spinning. I'm trying to remember if I know any of them. It's a big group.
I'll go with Chris.
I mean, that's the most Western sounding name.
Well, whoever it has to be pretty good at English.
Well, that's
true.
I mean, we've seen Rain. Like Rain in what is it?
Ninja Assassin.
Ninja Assassin, yeah. And that's not a prerequisite.
What's Ninja Assassin?
Oh, okay, well, maybe it's best if you don't know. It's really good that Rain was in no movies, because if he was, he would have really bad pronunciation. But he did win Baddest of the Year award for that, actually. Yep. So that was pretty good. Good for us Asian American men out there in the media. So I'd like to use my lifeline that I saved from the last one, so give me a 50-50.
All right. Well, it already had only 3 options, but I can tell you right now, one of the incorrect answers would be Luhan. So your choices are either Tao or Chris.
Great. Yeah. It's the Triple X sequel?
Yep. And they're finally bringing Vin Diesel back. Fun fact, actually, they made a sequel to Triple X, but it starred Ice Cube because Vin Diesel opted out. But now he's coming back. So technically this is part 3, but it's the return of Xander Cage.
Yeah, I can see that franchise did real well. I remember seeing the first one when they came out in theaters.
I have no clue what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, again, a good thing that you probably don't know. It's not really worth noting. Yeah, I'll go with Chris. Chris, final answer.
That's your final answer, locked in?
Locked in.
Drum roll, sound. Ding, 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 ding. You actually got that right.
Oh, thank God.
Chris was casted. I don't know the whole process, but I found the article, and apparently he was casted for a role as an associate of Xander Cage's. So I don't know if we'll see Chris doing some cool action stunts with Vin Diesel, because Vin Diesel's known for doing all his own stunt work, and the trailer shows him skateboarding through friggin' jungles and stuff, and he's surfing and snowboarding, all these extreme sports, which is pretty much what Xander Cage is known for. So who knows? Maybe we'll recognize Chris if we watch the movie.
Yeah, it's always interesting, trying to evaluate okay, these big Asian either pop stars or well-known actors abroad, and seeing them entering into American cinema. I'm thinking of what's it in the G.I. Joe series, or some other Korean.
I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
You can see this left a strong impression on me, but I can't remember their name, or Lee Bingbing and X-Men and other things. So I mean, I think people notice, but they don't really remember. So I don't know. Hopefully it'll be different for Chris of EXO as he makes his American feature.
Yeah, we can only hope.
All right, well, that was it for this episode of Do You Know K-Pop? Thanks, Supermatic, for coming up with those questions. And I'm sorry, K-area listeners, that I was pretty hopeless on a lot of those. But I think we learned that you should marry a joy. You should always go with the same answer and hope that it'll eventually get right. And what else did we learn? Go with the Western-sounding names for Western shows.
You didn't do too bad there. I mean, it was 5 questions, and you got 3 of them right. So
yeah,
you've got a positive ratio this time.
Yep. Okay, so up next for our wonderful treasure find.
Oh.
And for those of you who know and get the reference, this is obviously we're stealing from Simon and Martina of Eat Your Kimchi fame for their WTF, wonderful treasure find. Kicking this off, Matt, I have a question for you.
Yes, Peter.
Straight man to straight man. Are you a boobs guy or are you a butt guy?
Well, seeing as how this is a K-pop centric show, are we talking within the realm of K-pop or in general overall?
Let's go with K-pop.
Okay, so within K-pop, it'd probably be interesting for me because ever since I've been a K-pop fan, which goes all the way back to 2009, officially, when I fell into the hole and never looked back.
Brown Eyed Girls' wormhole?
No. But anyway, one thing I've noticed, especially like these past 7 years, give or take, with all the different groups that I've gotten into and artists and like all the music, especially all the videos, because we know like music videos are such a big integral part of K-pop. And with music videos, there's also the dancing. I think in the realm of K-pop, I'm probably just going to have to admittedly go towards more being a butt guy, because a lot of the dances and a lot of the music videos seem to like, I don't know, it's just, to me, it seems more like if girl groups especially are going to be like, or try to be sexy and or fierce and all that, they center around the butt more than they do the chest. Just fact of the matter.
Well, okay. That being said, I think you'll like this episode's wonderful treasure find.
You don't say.
Yeah, it's Iren's very subtly, hinting at the main focus of the song. But the name of the song, again, it's not obvious about what it's about, but the name of the song is called Butt.
Oh, I wonder.
Yes, yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of complex thought and symbolism behind it, but it's called Butt. And I was watching this music video, and there are some groups that you look at, and this probably has more to do with on the label end, and they go for different profit models, right? I think sometimes groups try making money off of album sales. Sometimes through, public shows and performances. And I think, or sometimes the merchandise. Mm-hmm. But this group, Iren, based off of their song, But, leads me to think that they're probably going for a different category, more for the private performances, which evidently is a whole another scene in K-pop. It's an advertisement for a different kind of service. Is what I'm thinking it is. So, have you seen this music video, Supermatic?
So, yes, I checked out this music video at your recommendation after bringing up this segment. And all I can remember are like maybe just 2 or 3 things from the video. A lot of booty shaking, lace clothing, and the gentleman's club setting.
And the gentleman's what?
The gentleman's club setting, like where it seems to take place.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. Like it felt like it was a gentleman's club. I'm not completely sure, but the overall vibe, that's what it gave me. I mean, as you just said, private performances. What happens at a gentleman's club?
yeah. It's funny you said lace on. I didn't even remember that. Like I think it was obviously very much aligned for the male gaze, and I think those male actors were there to help. The male gaze, I think, relate. So, and there's choices here, and she's face palming right now.
If we could take a picture.
Yeah.
You two are so giggly right now. It's like, okay, it's a butt. Like, why are you guys so giggly? Should we just name a song Penis? You probably would giggle a bunch too. Like, I think they probably could have done a better English translation and been more like booty to make it a little bit sexier or whatever. Because when butt, like you poop out of your butt, I mean, really, it's not the most, the best euphemism for that body part. But these girls could just be dancing because they wanna, okay? It does not mean they're advertising anything just because they tend to be wearing some really bad Forever 21 underwear. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. If they want to do that, that doesn't mean they're suggesting anything with any gentleman, okay? Maybe she just wants to frolic in her underwear. Maybe she feels confident in her booty. Maybe she just had her butt lifted. Who knows? There's a lot of plastic surgery in Korea. There's something to be proud of, okay? There's something there. You can be empowered by your booty. Everyone has one.
That's true. Ask Beyonce.
Yes. Everyone worships the booty, and it can be a good thing. You can be proud of your booty. That does not mean it's just for a gentleman's gaze, okay? Maybe I want to look at my own butt. It's okay.
So you're telling me, Nurse Joyce, that you liked this song?
I thought it was okay. The song itself, I thought the kind of the verse itself, the main chorus of the song was a little bit, I don't know, annoying. Kind of makes it sound more like when I don't want to do something. It was like, how do you even do it? That's more the sound I make when I don't want to do something.
All right, and you're listening to a post-production DJ Peter Lowe. Unfortunately, at this point in the show, it sounds like our recording hard drive sort of screwed up and the audio file became corrupted. So we ended this point talking about Iran's butt, and then we started talking about Kpopularity. It's another quiz segment that we go into, asking which group is more popular. And with that, we'll jump right back into the recovered audio in 3, 2, 1.
Peter is going to go ahead and venture a guess. I'm going to throw 3 questions at him. Or, well, basically it's just going to be 3 things for him to guess. One of them is going to be YouTube views for an MV. The second one is going to be Facebook likes. And the third one will be Instagram followers.
So who's more popular in K-pop for this Kpopularity?
Yep, pretty much. So, starting off, this mega rookie girl group that, or maybe not mega yet, but they're definitely on their way approaching there. They've been making huge strides. A favorite of me and Peter's and Nurse Joyce, Blackpink. We constantly debate about which song is better because we have our favorites. I'm a staunch defender of Boombayah. Peter is very strongly behind Whistle. So,
which is the better song?
So I went ahead and I took a look at the current number of YouTube views for those 2 MVs.
Oh.
Which one do you think right now, as it stands, has more YouTube views, Peter? Is it Whistle or is it Boombayah?
Oh, man. I feel like you're just going to try to be like, yo, well, you think Whistle's a better song. This song actually has more views.
Well, that's why. This is the fun of it.
And if you make me doubt myself and vote for the other one, that you can like rub it in my face saying that, oh, you say Whistle's better, but you thought Boombayah was the more popular.
Don't give me too much credit. I'm not that.
Okay, because it's gonna say this is a really dirty trick.
Nurse Joyce, would you like to venture a guess, maybe?
Whistle.
You're gonna go with Whistle.
Peter's thinking very long and hard about this.
I know on iTunes, Whistle actually has more buys. So I will also go with Whistle.
All right. So the question was which MV currently has more views on YouTube, and both Peter Lowe and Nurse Joyce have ventured a guess in favor of Whistle. Drum roll.
Oh, it's the Korean market, right? That's watching on YouTube, jacking up the views on.
I mean, you could probably guess that, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past these fandoms; they'd be crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's not that I think in this case I don't think it's the same fans, right? It's not that they're trying to say like one. Unless it's you and me. It's not like the fans are trying to say one song is more popular than the other. I think it's just that in different regions, different geographies, people like different subgenres of music.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in Korea, people probably like Boombayah more. But in America, especially here in the Yay area, we're into the more hip hop beat. And that's why I think the Moombahton sort of hip hop sound of a Whistle is probably higher in iTunes.
Yeah, we did have a poll not too long ago with those 2 songs for our listeners, and Whistle won out.
Yeah.
But reflecting just for really quick for the numbers, I mean, obviously this may have gone up in the last couple of hours since I looked at it, but Whistle's view count was roughly at about 30.5 million, whereas Boombayah is about to hit 37 million. So,
wow.
Yep.
That's a noticeable difference. I mean, well, it's great that they're both at that high, right? They're both great, and
considering this group just came out a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
And they've already announced their comeback in October next month.
Wait, so you can have a single 1 month and then have a comeback a month later?
talk to YG. That's what they announced.
Okay, I think these are the rules for K-pop. You know, you can be gone a fortnight and come back with a comeback. So
right.
yeah,
I mean, hey, I'm all for just more Blackpink in general. Right,
yeah, as we all are. Yeah, bring on the
All right.
content.
So the next one that I decided to actually take a look at, which I was really curious about, which I realized today that I had to fix. I did not before today. I did not follow any of the big three record labels on Facebook. I did not even know they had Facebook pages.
Oh, that's a good
so
point.
SM,
Yeah.
JYP, and YG. I looked up all their pages, and of course, I went ahead and followed all of them. I liked them on Facebook, so that I could keep up with the news. Obviously, SM wins out between the three of them. SM is actually bordering on 10 million likes.
Huh.
Both YG and JYP are vastly trailing behind SM, but
Vastly.
yeah, but they're close to each other ish. So the second guess here that I want, or that I'm going to ask the both of you to venture a guess for, is which of the two record labels has more Facebook likes as it stands right now, YG or JYP?
JYP. It's JYP. You know, that's a good question. I think this honestly has to do more with not necessarily who's more popular objectively, but who's putting more resources into maintaining their profile pages. And I think YG is probably a little more popular than JYP. I will say that JYP does have New York American offices, so they probably have a more active American Facebook page, right?
That makes sense as a train of thought.
Yeah.
Is that the thing that you're gonna go with for your answer?
Yeah. What do you think, Nurse Joyce?
I have no idea, but let's go with JYP. I'm not that invested. I know you are very invested, but I'm just gonna go with one.
I was trying to think if I can make some witty joke about the size of like JYP's, like, you know, narcissism or anything. But okay, yeah, I would go with JYP.
Final answer.
It's JYP.
And the result is, survey says,
What?
YG edges out JYP. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily that huge a difference, but as it stands right now, JYP Entertainment has 2 million likes on Facebook, whereas YG has 3.2 million.
Objectively, YG is more popular than
True.
JYP. I think maybe just goes to show you, you know, you can look at like Twitter accounts of celebrities, right, who never tweet anything, but they will still have like millions and billions of, not billions,
right,
but millions of followers, right, just because of who they are. And that's probably the case with JYP, YG, without actually looking at their pages. That's what I would surmise.
Just a quick side note, I actually kind of looked through all three pages just to see how active they are, and of course, them being the big three, not too surprised, they actually keep pretty active. Like they all have posts within the past week relevant to whichever of their artists are making out music. So all three pages are like consistently updated.
And are they updating in English, Korean, or what? Like
they do both.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So they appeal to the masses, English and Korean.
Well, it just means they have a PR guy to do that.
Right?
A publicist. Yeah. Yep.
All right. And last but not least, especially these days with K-pop, Instagram seems to be a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
So we also did IG followers last time, and that was between two of your favorites, Hyuna and CL.
Yep.
So this week we're actually looking at a couple more female idols who are pretty much like notable for being faces of their groups and whatnot. So, Peter, I'm going to ask you, and Nurse Joyce as well, which of the following female idols do you think has more followers on Instagram? Is it Seolhyun from AOA, pretty much the face of AOA, or is it Hani from EXID?
EXID. Seolhyun, which is known for her beauty.
Yep. Consistently named one of the top visuals in all of K-pop.
Indeed. Or what's her face from EXID?
Hani. She's the one who had the fan cam that pretty much made EXID blow up.
I mean, I love all the girls of EXID. Hani, which one does she look like again?
She's the one with the short hair right now. She's been the co-host of Weekly Idol for like a long time, this past year or so.
The really short hair. And,
Mhm.
Okay.
She's the first one we see in the Lie MV.
That's right. Yeah. Man, I feel like with Instagram, like everything can be up in the air. Like, I feel like I've set expectations with myself to be surprised on that social network in terms of what's more popular in K-pop. With Seolhyun, she probably has a bigger like production crew to sort of like frame her beauty, right? In her music videos and everything. And this is, how people know her, right? Or through professional photo shoots and whatnot. With Hani, I think we're seeing her in a more authentic, more natural state more often.
Mm-hmm.
And Instagram probably lends itself to that sort of behavior more. So I'm going to guess Hani of EXID.
As having more Instagram followers?
As having more Instagram followers.
Okay. Nurse Joyce, anything to say?
I'm gonna go with Soyoung.
Ooh.
Because I feel like Instagram is all about production value. I mean, who's better at it than Kim Kardashian, who has like, I think, crews of people to do that for her. So
Good point.
And Soyoung's the face of how many products or something. So I think her point is to be as visual as possible.
Oh, nice.
That raises a very good point.
Yeah. I'm going to say about my answer.
So we actually have a split here. Peter Lowe says it's Hani, whereas Nurse Joyce says it's Seolhyun. Drum roll. Peter Lowe is right.
Yeah.
It is Hani. This actually kind of surprised me too, because I was along the same train of thought when I was looking into this as Nurse Joyce. I would have thought Seolhyun had more followers. She has just under 2 million, whereas Hani's actually hitting 2.5 right now. So she kind of edges Seolhyun out.
Yeah.
But still, 500,000 is a pretty big number.
It is. But I mean, it shows you that they're both doing pretty damn well.
Yep.
I'm
not sure if this might be entirely it, but when I looked into it, one of the differences I noticed is that Hani's Instagram account, she posts at least like one picture a day, whereas Seolhyun has a few days in between most of her posts. So it seems like Hani posts literally a lot more than Seolhyun does.
Frequency matters on Instagram. And that's probably why people follow her more. Maybe it has to even do with people know to follow her more because she's posting more often. And if people were aware that Seolhyun was also posting, they might even follow her just as much. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's the main visual in EXID?
Honestly, I don't know. This whole time I've just been thinking it was Hani because like she's considered the face of EXID. But one thing I've learned recently is that someone can be the face of the group, but they're not necessarily the visual. And I find that kind of weird.
Yeah, it probably changes with the concept too.
True.
And how they age and how much plastic surgery they've gone through and how far along they are in their plastic surgery evolution. All right, well that was
Kpopularity.
Kpopularity. Yep. All right, so I think we're wrapping up for this week's episode, this show episode. So last week, not last week, it was a few weeks ago because I was...
Our last episode,
we reviewed, what was it? We reviewed EXO's Lotto.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept saying through that episode, hey, they use the same dang chandelier that Blackpink used.
For a whistle, right?
Yeah, and if you follow me on Twitter, you can see I made many GIF compilations showing that it's the same set, same chandelier, used in both music videos.
I believe I pointed that out to you.
Well, yes, I like to take credit for things, but yes, Nurse Joy pointed that out to me. So we asked who had the better chandelier dance scene. Was it EXO's Lotto or Blackpink's Whistle? And we had actually really high voter participation in that poll.
What was the final number, Peter?
I think it was around somewhere around 90 votes. So that was pretty good. Yeah, at least for us, because we're a real small time podcast and we're still figuring ourselves out. And if it sounds like we don't know what we're doing, it's because we really don't know what we're doing. So yeah, I mean, before I showed you results, who did you think was going to win that poll?
To be honest, I gave the slight edge to Blackpink only because they have that momentum behind them right now.
Yeah.
But I would not have been surprised to see EXO win because EXO's fandom, if like anything poll related, you can usually count on EXO's fans to go at that poll like crazy.
Yep. Well, it was the Blackpink fans who turned out a lot more. And by a lot more, I mean a lot more. It was
landslide, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I first introduced the poll question, it was actually really close. It was like 60-40. And there were a lot of votes at that point too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as the poll evolution went on, I think other what are Blackpink fans called again? Do they even have a name?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, well, whatever. Blackpink fans saw the poll and they rallied more to their cause. They're like, hey, we're losing this proxy battle here. So yeah, it was 81% for Blackpink's Whistle.
Woo, wow.
To EXO's 19%.
I wish I actually knew how to whistle right now because I would whistle at that fact.
All right. So for next week, we want to know who had more aegyo violence.
Aegyo violence.
In their royale. So is it Red Velvet's Russian Roulette, which we reviewed this for this episode of Daebak or Not, or was it La Boom's Shooting Love? Which had girls shooting, causing explosions, giving people bombs, exploding quite literally into puffy pink pastel-colored clouds.
Appropriate of the title, Shooting Love.
Yeah. So tell us. I'll put out a poll on Twitter, on our Facebook page and our Facebook group, as well as on Reddit, and let us know which had more aegyo violence. All right, well, that's it for this episode's of K Area. Again, we're still experimenting what we want to do with this show, how we want to structure things. Again, if you want to become involved, we're looking for another female perspective, so it's not two straight dudes talking about butts all the time. Like schoolgirls, apparently. Actually, funny story. Royce has been to more strip clubs than I have. I've been to 0. You've had even lap dances, right? Like,
oh yeah, I've had that.
Yeah, not me. So I don't know. The sign of it doesn't matter what your gender is.
And you never will.
Okay. And that's how it is. Good night, everybody. It's Carrie. Please subscribe to us on iTunes or whatever it is, Stitcher or whatever it is that you listen to your podcast.
Follow our social media.
Oh yeah, I'm at DJ Peter Lowe. You're at
Supermatic. That's an SOUP, like soup.
And let us know what you thought of the episode. Give us either of us a tweet or leave us a review. You can tell us we suck. Honestly, anything that you like or dislike, we want to hear it so we can evolve our show to be more fun to listen to.
Until next time, everybody.
All right. Good night, everyone.